Hi everyone, this is Ricky Thompson with Flying Magic Paintbox Hand-Painted Gifts. Due to my terrible decision to record the first half of this video in vertical orientation, you don't get to see the cat and base layers of the ornaments being painted. Then again, it's probably best you didn't, as when I was finished with the initial videos I realized that I'd given him two front right legs somehow, and even though I'm sure you'd probably be interested in to see what that looks like, I deleted the video. We pick up with me painting the outline of the ornament in a silver acrylic paint. I use a mix of acrylic paints. It usually depends more on the color of the paint rather than the brand. Most of my ornaments start off as pre-cut wooden ornaments that I find just about everywhere. Eventually, I would like to be able to invest in a laser cutter of my own, but for now I source my ornaments from a number of craft stores and online shops. This particular ornament I believe I picked up from AC Moore, but once they come home and go into the to be painted box, I tend to forget where they came from. The purpose of this video today is to give you an idea of what goes into my hand-painted ornaments, and also as a starting point for learning how to edit video and put audio to it. My plans are to put up some of the more complicated ornaments here in the near future. However, today you get a fairly simple one, just so I can test lighting, sound, focus, scripted narration, and that sort of thing. The most I've done in the past when it comes to videos was putting a few titles and captions, a bit of editing, and maybe some music, but overall, even though it looks like a really plain video where I start off painting some silver onto this wood ornament, a lot actually went into making all this. When you add in the fact that I'm going to have to read and then reread this narration 2 or 3 times to get it synced right, I'm sure the whole barely 9-minute video here will probably take a few hours to put together. Hopefully, with some of the practice under my belt, I can make more of these in a shorter amount of time. I think the worst part of it was actually getting the video formats to play together nicely, as my phone recorded it in an MP4 format and Windows didn't have the codec. Just say it took some research before I could even get started on edits. Then once it gets exported and uploaded online, well, if you've ever done anything video related, you know it takes a lot of effort to get it right. Wish me luck. Okay, well, back to the painting itself. As I'm wrapping up the last little bits of silver on the ornament outline, I have to switch brushes at this point to get into the finer areas, not to cover up what I had already painted. You'll see later that I go over the ribbons at the top one last time to bring it all together. Normally, I'd have painted this tabby cat as one of the 4 of my own cats, but the orange striped tabby is by far one of the most popular colorations of cats, so I thought I'd give it a shot first. My own cats are straight black, straight gray, gray striped tabby, and a gray striped tabby with white, so they would have either been too easy or too complicated. Here's the silver as I'm just finishing up. Looks pretty good, I think. Now we get into doing some of the highlights on the ornaments that our orange cat is playing with. The first one is the blue ornament. I'd put down a darker blue to begin with, and once that layer was dry, added the lighter blue on top, being careful to make sure that some of the darker blue remained on the outside edges, but leaving a bit more on one edge to give it some depth. Here's a little bit more paint to give it just a little bit darker. Now we go on to the yellow bulb. Again, starting with a darker yellow. Once it was dried, I'm adding a light yellow highlight, being sure to take care in leaving the darker yellow showing, but also keeping it a bit off center. It takes a bit of practice to keep the circle even. And then adding a bit more paint to also keep the color even, as wood ornaments really like to suck in the paint, and it's good to put a lot on there. One more coat, as this light yellow just kept disappearing into the darker yellow. There we go. That looks better. Alright, rounding it all off here. Just a little bit left. Now, once I gotten the ornament back into position, I'm adding darker purple to the outside of this last ornament. Honestly, I'd forgotten to use the darker purple first, as I did with the others. Thankfully, painting over with craft acrylics is fairly forgiving as long as you don't slop it on too thickly. You can always go over your previous layers. Also, making sure to turn the ornaments allows you to get better control over where you're painting. Always make sure your hand is in a comfortable position. Here's the view of the first set of highlights on the ornaments. Once those are completed, I add the little white reflections on them to give you the idea that the ornaments are actually shiny. It doesn't take much to really pull all the layers together to give you the illusion these ornaments are round, bright, and shiny. Doesn't take too much, just like a little curved exclamation point. Next up is painting the highlights on the holly leaves at the top. Again, after using the darker green paint, then allowing it to dry, I'm going over it here with some lighter green paint to give it a bit of veining and color. The ridges they aren't perfect, but with every new ornament comes new challenges and different techniques. I've never been really great with holly leaves, but I'm sure by the time I'm finished with the 4 of these ornaments that I bought, the leaves will be just the way I want them. In the meantime, though, you kind of get the idea, and it gives a bit of a extra flair to them, and it brings it over the silver paint to kind of give it a little bit more depth. We'll be adding holly berries to them afterward to really finish it off in the next scene, but these aren't too bad, and I think I might add a little bit of white to them too, give them a little bit of shine when all is said and done. Well, here's the first set of touches, and then we'll go into one more step after this. Alright, we're coming into the home stretch here. As I mentioned before, I have to go back here with the red paint in order to straighten out the red ribbons at the top. I think the next time I tackle this ornament, I'll actually paint the outside silver first, so I don't have to keep going back and fixing things. And I can go ahead and connect the inner ornaments over the outside in this step, which gives it a bit of depth that it didn't before. Once the ribbons are fixed, I can add a couple of red holly berries at the top to get it all pulled together. Here I kind of turn it to get it into position so I can do the round berries. I realized watching this that I should have probably connected the bow to the berries, which will probably get finished before the ornament goes up on the Magic Flying Paintbox store. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please like and subscribe. I'm really new to this and I'd really love to be able to share more of these types of painting videos with you, and if you like what you see, go ahead and comment below, and if you'd like to purchase a hand-painted ornament for your very own, please visit magicflyingpaintbox.com. I'll put the link in the comments below. Magic Flying Paintbox will be sending some magic again your way very soon. Thanks a lot for watching!